Welcome to Coach Owidi. I pray that you are well. Today we want to talk about single, blooming, and ready. Single, blooming, and ready for relationship. I want to take this time to welcome all of us who have joined in. I pray that this particular session will be of encouragement to you. And so welcome. My name is Charles Omolo Owidi. I'm a mental health life coach, and I am dedicated to helping as many as possible to live life to the full. So every Tuesday from 7:30, we're going to be talking to the single community, and to truly seek to want to have a wonderful life. And single, blooming, and ready for relationship is what we want to talk about. The session is simply single, blooming, and ready for relationship. And the main aim of this is to be able to just help us to first of all accept the life of being a single person. Being a single person. For when you are single and you accept who you are, only then are you able indeed to get into a relationship that gets fulfilled. And how is that so? I want you to look at a house that you're building. Before you build a house, you plan for it, and once you plan for that house, what will happen? Now, what happens is this. The number one thing, the moment a house is built, that particular house that is built, you have to finish it before you bring people into that house. You have to do the foundation cleaning and all that before you bring guests into your house. What am I trying to talk about briefly? What I'm trying to say, indeed, many singles get into relationship to try to fulfill a gap by bringing somebody else before they become complete. So the number one thing that is very important in single blooming, number one and very important, is somebody indeed truly becoming full before you invite somebody into your house. Before you invite somebody into your house to become a partner, you and I becoming intentionally fulfilled. So being single. Now, one of the things we have to talk about, the culture has made it in such a way that when a single person is not married, you don't feel significant. You don't feel important. From the household we've lived in over the years, you find that mother and father have expectations for you, and especially a moment when you are slightly becoming older. So the older you are becoming, the more anxious you become to get married, especially for the sister community. So you end up rushing into getting somebody, and that is like taking a cup that has nothing to give to the community. Even if that cup you try to, pour water, pour whatever out of it, that cup is empty. So when you give in a relationship is give and take. If you get into a relationship and then you have nothing to give, you're gonna be miserable. So single blooming, before you bloom, you got to accept the singlehood, that I am happy with being a single person. And apart from that, I just pray in the book of Proverbs. For those of us who are here, it is a Bible-based forum, and I pray that this will help you. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 2, verses 10 to 11, says, when wisdom enters your heart and understanding guard you, discretion will protect you. So what is the book of Proverbs saying? First of all, it begins by becoming wiser. The moment you become wiser, then discretion enters in your heart. The moment discretion enters into the heart, what happens later on? He speaks about you will be protected. And so how do we get into a moment when now you're fulfilled, you're wise, and you're protected because of discretion? There is something that you and I must quickly understand. And I pray that in this session you will not feel judged. That's really my prayer. I'm not here to judge you, to make you feel useless, to make you feel like you're not worthy. This particular session for single blooming is based on a book that I've written, and this book is the main reason why I said, let me come online, because a few people asked me to come online. This book is what we'll be discussing through, and this book is simply to be able to help you, to give you the wisdom and understanding and power to be able to live that single life, the singlehood as God desires for you. So, what do we do? One of the things that you and I must understand, that indeed for us to be able to accept our singlehood, then I have to identify. And that's what we call in psychology self-awareness. Who am I? Who am I? Indeed, am I okay with who I am? Am I okay the way I look? Am I okay with the culture, my skin tone? Am I okay with it? Because if you are not okay, you will many a time try as much as possible, indeed, to try to fulfill that gap. And I want to tell you how many are fulfilling that gap, or feeling like, what, I'm somebody, I'm significant. One of them, they try to make so much money. They think by going back to school, school is important, but there's a gap within you that school will not fulfill. Making and getting a lot of money is okay, but money will not fulfill that gap of being, in the image of God fully. I feel worthy. I feel important. I feel significant. I feel secure. Then thereafter, you're able to give yourself to somebody else. The two of you who are fully fulfilled come together. Indeed, you make your life a blessing. So, the community has put a lot of things, expectations, those things. How do we deal with it? You and I must go to a moment of self-awareness and ask yourself, what are some of the things that I've allowed to describe who I am? How much do I value myself? Do I value myself based on the wealth, the education, people who like me? Do I value myself because I have a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Or do I value myself because I am made in the image of God and I am important? I love myself. I am great, wonderfully, and fearfully made in the image of God. It all starts from that before you give of yourself to somebody else, And so being single is not a curse. It is a season of becoming. I will repeat again. Being single is not a curse. It is a season of becoming. Becoming like who? Becoming fulfilled, becoming and restoring the image that the Creator created within you. And that is what? Becoming like Jesus, the best gift you can give yourself. Jesus Christ was single, and it was okay. It was okay. Paul was single. Men who are single in the Bible are wonderful people who have given of themselves and served for many years. And I've known of men and women who are miserable because they're single. Some of them are beautiful, gone to school, have everything, and yet even with that, they're still not fulfilled. And so nothing from without can fulfill you. It is the within. When the within is fulfilled, you will live a good life. In the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7, this basically is based on biblical principle, Bible psychology. In the book of, Corinthians chapter 7, 1 Corinthians says, I wish that all of you were as I am, but each of you has your own gift from God. What is Paul saying? That as much as I'd want you to be like me, but it's got to be very clear that you cannot be like me. You cannot be like your neighbor. You cannot be like if anytime you try to be like somebody else, you always will become a second hand to the person you're trying to imitate. That you are the first hand of yourself. The Creator created you, designed you in a very special way. And that special way, you and I must fight for it. So, one of the things that is important to understand, you must let God fill you first. How do you let God fill you first? I will tell you that you will wake up and there's something you cannot change. The direction of the sun rises from the east and sets down to the west. The rain comes from the top and comes down. You cannot change that because the Creator created that way. There are things you cannot change about yourself, who you are, that God created. That even if you try to put what to change your skin tone, who you are, if you've not accepted who you are, no matter what you put on top up, you will not go far. So the first and very important and significant point is to be able to accept yourself for who you are, the way the Creator created you, the way He modeled you. And when you understand that and you love that, oh God help me, sky is the limit. And I will tell you why. As I was growing up as a single person, what happened? At the time, I was a model, by the way, as a young single person. But when I became sick, my jaw grew a bit. And what happened? My body became big. I added a lot of weight, which of course I did not know. It was sickness. Then I started becoming insecure. And I would talk with twanging and all that. So people thought that I was boasting and twanging. So because of that, I started becoming a bit of insecure. But eventually, as time went by, of course, when I went for surgery, diagnosing, understanding exactly what I was going through, then eventually I needed to start to fight to find myself. As my jaw changed, not really. I had a pituitary adenoma, brain tumor, my jaw grew a bit. The model figure also went a bit. But what happened? Trust me, I needed to restore my relationship with God. And that's why you cannot give to the world that which you do not have. It begins by you restoring yourself and making yourself becoming the person that God created you to be. Self-acceptance is very important. I want to give you an illustration. When you look at the mirror, who do you see? Now when I look here, I look at myself, I see me. I don't see you. So as much as I'd want to be like you, who can I change? I can't change you. I change me. So when you look at the mirror, who do you see? You see yourself. So too many people look into the mirror and only see who they want to see in somebody else who's not them. You cannot change that somebody else. No way. I am not married to my wife because I look like my wife. I would not have married myself. No. She is a particular different person. I love her for who she is. If you don't appreciate yourself, no one will love you. So you got to love yourself. Even the Bible says that. So when you look at the mirror, you see yourself. I should not be seeing somebody else in me. I should see myself in myself. But that's where this process will take the journey to be able to discover, to check, and to see how do we mold myself to become the beautiful person that I ought to be. Why? Because the Bible says you are a royal priesthood, a people belonging to God. What does it mean to be royalty? Royalty simply means, you've seen the Prince Charles. You've seen them. A people belonging to God. Chosen people. By who? By himself. Now, I want you to look back in the royalty community, the way they're brought up. How are they brought up? Particular way of mannerism, the way you dress, the way you eat, the way you do things different. There are some struggles they don't struggle with. So you want to go back. When God calls you to be a royalty that you are, what does that mean? It's until you accept that I'm a royalty, but for you to accept and begin to restore that, you have to go back and quickly realize that the world we live in is a world that was fallen a long way back. So while the world was fallen, the world was fallen in the book of Genesis 3, then what happened? Jesus Christ came to restore the world. But many times the old culture will not just go. The old familiar territory where your mother and your father raised you up in will not just go. And that's why, again, you're given the option of the renewal of the mind. And how do you renew the mind? It is simply by going to seek to understand, who am I? And so the royalty, who I am. First of all, you got to go back to the Creator's manual and seek to understand I'm a fallen being. In the fallen nature, there are certain patterns and principles that I've learned over time. And then what do? You go back and look at those principles and you renew them into the likeness of the royalty that you've been created to be. Then number two, a royalty does not just go marry ordinary. No. A royalty will not just give of themselves to just anybody. Having sex left, right, and center with just anybody, polluting the body with drugs, addictions, and all that. You will not. How is that so? When you understand who you are, the image for which you're created, and you restore it, man, it gives you such a wonderful, beautiful life. The question, are you royalty? Do you love who you are for who you are? Do you love the way you're created? Are you comparing yourself with somebody else? Who are you comparing yourself with? Who? You got to go back. You will never be that person. You can only be you. So what happened? Appreciate who you are. Appreciate who you are. Know that you are a royalty and start living in the principle God created you for. And that is why we're going to be having this series every Tuesday to be able to see how do we maintain, how do we work the royalty into being, into becoming. That is what we want to do. Because I will tell you, when you restore that, my brothers and sisters, my friends who are tuned in, life becomes so nice. Life becomes so merry. When the Bible says, do not associate with the non-believers, what does the Bible say? God tells you not just anybody. Do not. So quickly, let's go back to what we were studying. And so quickly, as we go down, what happened? So I can only give that which truly is within me, because it's who I am that I'm able to give. So the number one thing that is important that you got to fight for, appreciate yourself and accept that being single is not a curse. Being single is not just a pathway you're passing through to that important stage. Not really. Live your life as a single person, for you will not be single again. You only live once. Enjoy it. Why am I telling you that? Many people escape the life of singlehood. When they get married, they begin to start living like a single person because they never enjoyed their singlehood. And so it begins by you enjoying your singlehood right now. When you get married, you'll begin to live like a married person, taking responsibility of the children, diapers. Now live as a single person, enjoy. What do? We will talk about more on those as we continue. In the book of Psalms 139:14 says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. My nose, my mouth, my teeth, my black skin. You might be brown, but I'm black, but I'm handsome. That I know. You got to give yourself the self-affirmation. I am handsome. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So that is important, that we got to understand that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And what do you say? Wow, thank you, God, for making me the way I am. How often do you thank God for the way He made you, for the way you are? How often? You got to thank God for the way He made you, and thank yourself and say, you know what? I'm handsome. I'm beautiful. And that is called affirmation. If you're waiting for people to come and affirm you and tell you the way you're handsome or beautiful, you will wait for a long, long time. And those who come to you will come because they want something from you. And when you are not secure, you are insecure, they will come for you and they will get you. Guess what? People, the drug addicts, drug peddlers, do you know what they look for? They look for those insecure people in school who are lonely and withdrawn, who feel useless and feel less about themselves. Then they catch you, they get you into their trap. Homosexual community as well. That is what they do. And so if you're not secure with yourself, the devil will abuse you. The devil will trash you. Be secure. First, significant, important point is accept yourself for who you are. You are a royalty and not just anybody. Remember, the culture you've been brought up in many years that has made you feel like as a single person I'm useless. You think it will just go away. It will not just go away. You have to be very intentional to fight it. The renewal of the mind. Your mind is powerful. As a man thinketh, so he is. If you think you're useless, you are. No one has made you useless. If you think you're beautiful, you are. You are. Very important. Be comfortable. Be comfortable in your skin with who God has made you to be. Proverbs 24 verse 3 reminds us, by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. You are the temple of the living God. And so if you are the temple of the living God, what does God expect of you? You are a house that contains that. That I want you, it says, by wisdom a house is built. You remember the person who built the house on the sand? Two builders built, one built on the sand, one built on the rock. The one who built on the sand, what happened? Challenge came, problems came, and the house went down crumbling, and the house went down. But the one who built on the rock, the house stood the test of time. The house stood the test of trouble and problem. What kind of house are you building? Fighting, going against the culture you've learned over the years. It's not gonna be easy. Easy peasy, no. It requires a hard work. And that's why, number one, I tell people, with wisdom, reading. I praise God. He has given me an ability and talent. I've published 7 books, and this is one of them for singles. I've been a radio presenter, last year with Pearl Radio. I've worked with singles for the last about 15 years, and I tell people there's no other. Though my people perish for lack of knowledge. You got to start reading books. If you want a book, this book of mine, go to coachowidi.org. It has all the lessons I've learned over 15 years. coachowidi.org. You can download it there, and then you can read for yourself. It talks about what talk do you need to have before engagement. It talks about before saying I do, or before getting yourself indeed into a relationship, fulfill yourself, find yourself, and be joyful with yourself. It has a lot of those topics. Let me go back to what we were looking at. So a house indeed truly will be built, and that house, or a land will be planted. That land, it depends on the seed you plant into it. Every day you plant, every moment you walk, every decision, every choice you make, you're planting into your life. With wisdom you plant, you end up harvesting the fruits of the good, wise plants you planted. I tell people, you're free to make choices, but you are not free from the consequences of your choices. Every choice you make has a consequence. You are free to make choices, but you are not free from the consequences of your choices. So when you're planting, plant well. There's no shortcut. You got to work hard at building who you are. You got to work hard at making yourself that royalty that God created you to be. You got to work hard at restoring that dignity, integrity. It will not come easy. What do? You plant one day at a time. Oh, but I don't like reading books. Oh, yes, you don't like reading books. Not really. Just say, possibly confront yourself and say that maybe I'm lazy. I used to give that excuse. Forgive me. I used to give that excuse. But a moment came when I quickly realized I needed to take care of God's children. And by the time I gave the excuse, I turned myself around and started reading. And currently, as we speak, I've written 7 books, and I'm writing 3 more that are coming. The 7 were recently launched in Carnival Hotel, in the month of August, and 3 more are going to be launched very soon, or based on mental health. So there's nothing. Let no one tell you that you cannot. You and I are powerful than we know. Why? Because our Creator created you in His own image. In His own image. The image of God is a powerful, a creative image. Be creative and build yourself. Make yourself become the best of the best. And in Colossians chapter 2 verse 10 says, and you have been made complete in Christ, who is the head over rulers and authority. This is now specifically to a Christian community. If you're a Christian, many times I find Christians, oh, woe me, oh, and all that. And I get it. Life is hard and life is beating you down. But I want you to understand what this particular script is saying. What is it saying? And you have been made complete. Nothing is lacking in you. You have full wisdom. You have full understanding. You have full beauty. And no one in the entire universe compares with you. No one in the entire universe has a fingerprint like yours. No one in the entire universe has a smile like yours. That you know what? That smile, you can either use it for His glory by accepting that I am complete in Him, or you can wallow in self-pity. But why do we wallow in self-pity? I don't want you to beat yourself too much. You got to go back and ask yourself a question. Why do drunkards drink? Why do people go into, drug addiction and all that? At times are when someone goes through so much pain, and that pain they don't know how to handle. At that particular moment, they get into that. When they get to that, they find it soothes them a bit. And then over time, they try second time, third time, fourth time. Then they realize it works even better. They continue with that. Many times we look at the drugs and we think the drugs only. Not really. You and I, in many ways, we have our drugs. We have coping system within which we operate, we live with every day. What is your coping system? What is your drug? What is your addiction? Could it be television? Could it be the boyfriend? Could it be, I don't know what it is. What is it that makes you sad? Because for you to be able to change, first of all, you have to accept that this is my problem, this is my challenge, and then you go back to the manual that was written to change and to help you to recreate yourself, and you become the best of best by becoming intentional, by building that house, building that temple that is who you are into the best ever that needs to be. Intentionality. There's no shortcut to it. Hard work. There's no shortcut to it. You must plan to make it happen. Very important, and I hope that gives you a direction. And so, the restoration is what we're going to be talking about next time when we meet. Next week on Tuesday, we'll talk about restoration. How do we take this single person? Because at times, maybe most likely you've gone through so many challenges, so many problems that has robbed you of your singlehood. Maybe you've gone through so many challenges that have robbed you of your self-esteem, and you're thinking, man, I'm useless, I'm good for nothing, And life has beat some of them so much to a point where they feel like, you know what? I don't feel like living anymore. Some of them like, nah, I don't want to get into any other relationship because some women say all men are cheaters. Why? Because they were cheated on, and at that particular moment, what happened? They indeed never healed out of it. At the end of it all, what happened? They don't look forward to any other relationship. You will not get into a healthy relationship. You are not healthy. The same people, if I look back as I work with them, you find they attract the same people who look like them, the same people who represent who they are. It is until you grow and become the best of the best, only then will you attract the correct people with you. Only then will you be able to have royalty around you. So in the next few weeks, we're going to be looking at single, blooming, and ready for marriage, ready for relationship, ready for whatever it is. But eventually, single people have been trained to think marriage is the end of everything. So we'll be looking at single. So currently, we want to look at the single. And then we'll be looking at how do we make this single person bloom? How do we restore the royalty within particular person? How do we make you smile again? How do we make you rejoice again? So, if you think I'm here to get you married quickly, not really. Once you're ready, trust me, they say birds of the same feather flock together. You will begin to soar like an eagle. You will attract the eagles like you. So our work in the next few weeks will be to do that. Another plan that I want to share with you briefly that we'll be looking at, I also have published books on emotional pain. Now, emotional pain, what happened? Those of us who have been heartbroken, you've been heartbroken and you have no idea what to do with it, we will look through that book and learn as well. But first of all, we want to look at this single blooming to get you ready. Once we finish with that, then we'll go to now emotional pain. How do we deal with emotions? The broken heart, the things you went through. Then the other thing again, maybe you fell too deep, too high and all that, and you're so much in pain and you feel like, man, my life is good for nothing. We will also look at overcoming fear. There's a book also called Rahab. And so this series we have just started today, we're going to be continuing for a long, long time where we are at. So if you want to reach out to me, please go to coachowidi.org. To reach out to me, go to coachowidi.org. It has all my details, or go.org. And if you need my telephone number, please take a pen. I will give it to you. My telephone number is Kenyan code +254 707 724 994066 724 994066. I'm a mental health board certified life coach. I do therapy with people. I do counseling. I also truly indeed walk along with people, go to do motivational speaking, single forums. I do all that. And so if you have any question, please feel free to reach out to me on my WhatsApp or direct call or email. My email is coachowidi@gmail.com. coachowidi@gmail.com. Therapy, life coaching, I am there. Thank you so much. God bless you for listening. I hope this has been a blessed session for you. Thank you.